Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening, ladies and gents. Hello and welcome to the inaugural round of the Formula 4 for 2024. The F4 Esports is going to be kicking us off here tonight on behalf of FRG. Misano, the location in Emilia-Romagna in Italy. This is a fast and flowing circuit and provided some phenomenal racing when we were here only a couple months ago for the Super Formula Lights. Scotty Rankin off alongside of Dave Roberts here tonight. And Dave, you were always talking about these cars last year. This is another one of those tracks. I get the feeling they're just going to be trimmed out and it's going to be it's nearly a Formula Ford fest with just a touch of downforce to add to the grip.
Yeah, good evening, Scott. Yes, it is. It's like a Formula Ford with wings, about the same horsepower, about the same output, a little bit more grip. But the wings actually slow them down a bit, so they take all the wing off them. In the real world, they run them almost flat everywhere because they've got enough grip out of the tyres. So, yeah, interesting. Here they will be trimmed really, really low. They've got a fixed setup here for sport. Later on this evening, when we go to the Pro Series, you'll find that that's an open setup, and they'll all be trimmed absolutely flat. Here they got a little bit more wing because it is the introductory level or the sport level of the class.
Yeah, well, here we're going to the track map here for tonight, and this played host to one of the more interesting races. I thoroughly enjoyed it here in the Super Formula Lights. What's it going to present for us with Formula 4 racing action? The long run down the main straight, the left-right nearly 90-degree bends at 1 and 2. A long flowing right-hander that sort of opens. It's a little bit tricky. It looks simple on the surface. It's very much not so. 4 and 5, nice and slow corners as well. Got to carry the speed, get the drive off, and carry it all the way out of 6. The long middle straight on the run down to Cursia, all the way down at 8. 9 and 10, again, another tricky little doubling back combination before you're flat all the way down the back straight. Might be a slight lift down at 10, 13, tight right-hander at 14, another great overtaking opportunity, and I think it's going to probably suit the Formula 4 a little bit more than it did the Super Formula Light. Tough to overtake it was in that car, but this one I get the feeling we are going to see a little bit of a draft fest. This should be some good racing.
Yeah, this circuit used to actually, since inception, it was always an anti-clockwise circuit, not a clockwise circuit. And all the MotoGP races here were all anti-clockwise. And when they, with the new regulations, the new safety regulations, they couldn't add the runoffs they were looking for, especially down at Tremonto. And so they actually changed the direction of the circuit so that they could better provide runoffs for the faster corners. Interesting. One of the very few circuits that started out going one direction and ended up going the other.
Yeah, and live shots now from the circuit at the moment. The drivers are kicking off through their 10-minute qualifying session, which is right about to finish. 4 laps will be the opportunity that they'll get across the 10 minutes with a 20-minute race here for sport. Fixed setups right across the duration of the season for the sport category, and no pit stops we are expecting throughout. And qualifying's now in the books. We'll be getting into the gridding formation here in just a few moments, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. In terms of things, it's going to be a few regular names that you're actually going to see towards the front end of town, and some new names throughout the middle of the field. Daniel McCrowan was quick in the Formula Fords. He returns to us for Formula 4 racing action. Ocean
Oh.
Colangelo. Ocean Colangelo, and alongside of Ocean is going to be that of Ian Zhu, who was incredibly quick in the Formula Ford series as well. Row number 3 is going to be Leo Dreyer and Jason Depp. We'll move one row further back to our 4th row on the grid will be Aiden Schweikert and James Raymakers. Jim Stoddart and Ben Ryder are going to make up our top 10. We'll get outside the 10 to Nathan Favero and Adrian Gretsch. Kyle Hazel and Reese Roland are going to be on row number 7 and row number 8, which we'll get back to in just a few moments, will be Willie Blair and Lee Peckham. Row number 9 is going to be that of Ronald Long. In fact, I can hear the engines already starting to roar. We're actually about to go green flag racing here in just a few moments. From the front of the field, I might have heard somebody revving their engines or excessively just in advance. Matthew Bakir and Florentino Agudera from the rear of the field. Martin Lipsky will be the final driver to set a qualifying time. So we are going to be gridded up for 21 drivers in the sports server before we will take a break and kick on over to our pro server. So, minute 45 at the moment on our gridding time. We'll be green flag in about 10 seconds' time. Anyone caught your eye thus far there, Dave?
Well, we've got a few new names there. Kane Kugamiya, he's new to the series. We haven't seen him here in FRG before, so that's a great debut for him sitting on the front row. Ocean Colangelo, she's done a fantastic job. Young girl, young female racer. Here we go, and we're off.
Green flag on the right hand of turn number 1. There's been somebody who's missed the start from the tail end. They're going to go right to the rear, and unfortunately, it's going to be a long old night for Reese Roland, who's missed the start, unfortunately, for that one. McCrowan got the jump. Ian Viewers actually managed to jump 2 spots and managed to find himself sitting in 2nd place at the moment, but they've got to be careful. McCrowan's already just about breaking out of the slipstream at the pointy end of the field. If he can just maintain this, and there's not much they can do about it, that might be enough for a race win. He might have done enough in the first combination of corners, so Zhu's got some work to do here.
I'm not sure what happened there in turn 1, 2, 3 complex, but something happened there that Daniel McCrone's made him a fantastic jump in a matter of 2 or 3 corners. How he's done that, I'm not quite sure. But I think that Kane Kugamiya may have had some trouble on the cold tyres and got a bit mixed up there with Ian Zhu, and they've lost time on Daniel. Now Daniel's going to try and stretch that lead over this opening lap, break that toe so that he's away, and if he can get away, he can hold that.
Yeah, he's already up to about 1.4 second lead at the moment. In the meantime, Zhu was covering off from Kugamiya. He's just trying to hold him off this point in time, and the margin looking to extend, so done a reasonable job. Out in front is Daniel McCrowan. Got clear. The problem is now, is Ian Zhu going to be able to go and chase him? There was actually a bobble for Ian Zhu down through the 9 and 10 combination. He did lose the rear just a fraction. Managed to catch it.
These cars being trimmed out, not got a huge amount of wing on. The tyres are pretty hard, and there's 3 of them heading into pit lane, obviously for damage repairs, because there's no need to do a pit stop. Yeah, the tyres are pretty hard, and on the opening lap, they're pretty loose, and they're very loose in the back. The car does tend to have a loose rear end on it. In general, and on cold tyres is even worse, so you've really got to watch it the opening couple of laps. But what we're seeing here is McCrone's just established that lead, and he seems to have settled with it. Then you've got Zhu and Kugamiya back there making a little fight between each other. These guys need to work together. They can drag themselves back to Daniel, and then there's a bit of a gap back to Ocean, who's doing a fantastic job leading a bunch there of Leo Dreyer, Jason Depp and Aiden Schweikert. Aiden, another one of our young guns, early teens, fantastic racer. His dad's raced with us before, and it's great to see these young people out here having a go.
Yeah, indeed they are. And again, Zhu's going to be offering the toe up to Kane Kugamiya. Kugamiya's going to just sit there and back out a little bit. And it looks like they actually might be a breakaway pack for 2nd and 3rd now as well, because they've just about dropped Ocean Colangelo as well. So Ocean's going to be chased down by Leo Dreyer Depp. That combination, Aiden Swikert's got some work to do but is still relevant to this little battle pack as it currently stands. And James Rainmaker's just barely hanging onto the draft as it currently stands in here as well. So it's broken up into a couple little packs as it currently stands, and they're all trying to make a little bit of headways where they can. I think Ocean's done a reasonable job actually to maybe break down some of that draft and has actually driven back towards Kane Kugamiya.
Yeah, it's not a big gap. It's one little mistake, and they'll all be back together. The other thing to note this season, what FRG have done in general with our series is we've just thrown away all the incident points. Nobody gets incident points. You can go, off the track, put a wheel off. You don't get an incident point, and if somebody runs up the back of you or something, you don't get 4 incident points and end up getting disqualified from the event. That's a nice move down the inside there. So what that does allow, it allows race control to control the penalties for incidents. So if there's an incident out there, race control look after it, rather than some computerized system that doesn't always get it right and doesn't always penalize the right person. So I think it makes for better racing. It also doesn't give you that fear of, if you run a bit wide, oh dear, I've got an incident point. You run a bit wide, do you run a bit wide in the real world? What happens? Nothing. If you do it consistently, you get in strife. So and that's exactly what will happen here. But now we're seeing McCrowan has actually gapped them properly. He's got over 3 seconds lead over them now, and battle pack number 2 has now become almost 5 cars. So that's they've closed right up. Ocean's done a fantastic job to hold them in, but I think the boys here looking side by side, what they're doing is slowing each other down. And Ocean's got the blinkers on, and she's gunning for the tail of those 2 guys.
Well, I think the big thing is that Kane Kugamiya actually thinks that he's the quicker of the 2 that was at the front end of this, front 2 between himself and Ian Zhu, and eventually he's just gotten by. So he has taken a 1/10 of a second out of Daniel McCrowan actually in the first sector. So the pace is definitely there. And then it's back to Leo Dreyer, who's just sort of trying to cover off from Aiden Schweikert at the moment. And Rainmakers has driven back to these guys as well. Jason Depp, though, has lost a little bit of time now and has slipped off the back end of this battle pack. A little bit of a brake pinch that time through for Ocean. But in the meantime, Daniel McCrowan still maintaining about a 2.8 second lead as it currently stands, and now they'll try and chase him down.
It is side-by-side running, Scott. That does slow them down, because you've basically got to back off here. You've got to give room. You've got to get off the pedal. And, somebody who's running by themselves and doing the absolute optimal line at all time is obviously going to be quicker. So the more these guys fight, the more they lose touch with the guys in front. They've got to get smart, sit in each other's toe, get the fast guy in the front of it, and go for it.
Something's just happened to Schweikert.
Yep.
So that was in the final sector on the current lap. The end of the last lap, sorry, yep.
He's still showing in 6th, but he's obviously had something, because he's in touch there with the race control. So something's gone on.
Yeah, so he'll have to get the head down and see what he can do from here.
Actually, I've been driving these things, trying to help set things up and work out the circuits and how much fuel we need to restrict for Pro to make a pit stop, etc., etc. I've been driving these things a bit more, and I was never a great fan, but I'm becoming much more of one. As you spend more time in the car, it actually becomes a much more fun thing to drive, and they're pretty good little bit of gear. They slide around a lot more than they used to when they came out first.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of them. Look, to be honest with you, when they come and go and the tyres change, the tyres will adapt. Everyone will make adjustments to the cars, but I think the problem for Aiden Schweikert at this point in time is I think he has actually picked up some form of damage, because all of a sudden he's just starting to drop off massively from Leo Dreyer up ahead. Dreyer does...
Kugamiya's got the gap down to 2.5 seconds there, Scott. He's gained about 7/10 of a second on Daniel McCrowan. So in the last lap or so, that's a big change. He keeps doing that, he'll be right with him in no time. It's where they're being smart. They're all running nose to tail and not upsetting each other's lines. So they're Dreyer, fastest lap, 35.6. He's sitting back in 5th place, but he's got the fastest lap of the race. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Assisted a little bit by the tow. It's currently on offer for him. It was through the middle sector of the lap right here where he made a significant gain on the most recent lap. We'll see if he can improve on this lap as well, but just keeping an eye further back. There's another battle pack forming in behind Adrian Gretsch as well, with a few cars following on between Willie Blair and Nathan Favero. We're going to try and get a little bit closer and have a look how close Zhu gets to the rear of Kane Kugamiya.
And he got a bit unstable on turn in there. You saw the back go, and he sort of grabbed it, and instantly he lost about 3 or 4 tenths there. Instantly, as soon as that car got a little loose.
Looks like, just keeping an eye on Daniel McCrowan and Kugamiya. Kugamiya is carrying quite a lot of speed, doing a phenomenal job at making time. This was that battle that I was talking about between Adrian Gretsch, Nathan Favela, and Willie Blair. They are making time.
So there's a pile of new names here that we haven't seen before in things. So in here, James Raymaker, Willie Blair, Matthew Bakir. I think he joined us last season there. So Lee Peckham's new, Florentino Agadira, Kyle Hazel. They're all new. So if you're sitting out there saying, "Oh, these guys, I'd love to join," there's a lot of new guys here. Come and be another new guy. So with the sport class, Scott, anybody out there watching, if you want to come and race, you don't have to sign up for the whole season. You can say, "I'll come and do a race." So what you need to do is join us on a Sunday night. There's pre-qualifying at the circuit. So last night there was a 3-hour, 4-hour session where you go and set the fastest lap you can do in 4 hours. Everybody's out there, and then the fastest 30 cars qualify for the event. Now tonight we've only got 25. I think we had 25 qualifying. A couple didn't turn up. So mate, go out there. You can be a part of this next week, and if you can't race the week after, it doesn't matter. You're not letting anyone down. It's just it's an introductory class to get you in there, and if you're really quick and you get towards the front, then next season you might be in pro.
Yeah, and really it's only yourself that's losing by not participating. The only thing preventing me from being behind the steering wheel, I can tell you very much so, is the fact that I've got a microphone in my hand on a Monday night. Yep. Kugamiya is still just holding steady. Hasn't really gained anything on the current lap. Hasn't really lost anything either. So he has got that margin down to about 2.3 seconds. And thereabout it stays.
Okay, Scott. Well, I'm thinking now that what we need to do is talk to the producers. We'll get a stand-in for commentary to join me for the night. And you go racing, and we'll put shit on you for the night.
We'll see if we can get
I'll look out. I've just been slapped by the FIA. Damn it.
Yes, you've been forced to sit in here on a Monday night for community service day.
Lovely. Hasn't there been a lot of rubbish going on in the last 7 days? And that's not stopping either. But anyway, Kugamiya, great drive. Come on, a little bit more. He's 2.3, so he's grabbed another couple of tenths. You've got to start closing that gap. Doesn't matter how much. So long as that gap is closing, he's putting pressure on McCrowan. When you got pressure on is when mistakes happen. So, that's what he's got to do here. Just strive really hard to try and just keep closing that little gap. Zhu's being smart. Just sit in the tow. You only have to be in front at the finish line. You do not have to lead every lap on the way there. So that's smart driving by N. They're making a gain. He can see they're gaining on the guy in front, and he's letting Kugamiya do all the hard work. I think that's really smart driving. And also the same thing from Ocean there back behind. She's sitting in that tow as well. No need to fight it. If she does that, the leader's going to run away. Just sit there, and it's all about the last lap. It's a bit. These things are in some ways are a bit like a big Formula V. It's that last lap with the slipstream. If you can get a move on, you only want to do it on the last lap when nobody can get you back.
you've also got to be in the right position on that last lap to make the biggest gain. There's no reason sitting in the last lap in 10th spot, setting yourself up and going for a big move, because you'll never get to the pointy end of things. You've certainly got to time the run, and timing the run they're working on. There's a battle underway for 5th and 6th spot on the road at this point in time. Schweikert, I think, has just slid down the inside of Leo Dreyer.
Right, and yep, so he's must be getting a little bit of his pace back. He sort of had something happen there, dropped back, but nice move. Lined it up for a long way back. And I got to say, Dreyer, very smart, didn't try and close him down. Yep.
Recognised he was a long way down the inside there. Rainmakers is doing a reasonable job as well. Jason Depp, unfortunately, has lost touch with the next group ahead. And how about this little grouping on the run down through 9 and 10 as well?
Yeah, I noticed when we were there watching from the rear as Schweikert came out of that, whatever that darn corner's called, very, very sideways and sliding, and that's what you see with these guys. It's not through horsepower, it's just they float them through and sort of four-wheel drift them. They're really neat. You'd see it there in the background, the way the car's sort of four-wheel drifting through these corners. And yeah, that call out that we just made about come and join, it must have worked, because we just had 2 people join the server. So who's going to be the third?
Yeah, it's everyone watching along. Definitely get involved. And as the timer ticks down as well, very, very quickly, we've lost 15 minutes of this race as it's already gone on. Only 5 more left to go. And the run down to turn number 1. James Raymakers now has slipped back to this little group. So a little battle pack of 3 became 4. And Raymakers on the slide at the moment. He's going to have to try and find something, because now he's going to be towing along Adrian Gretsch, who gets inside the top 10.
Really difficult little section, that double right, tight double right. It's a lot better in these cars than it is in a GT car, Scott. It's a very tight and technical little corner there down there. These things point and steer and change direction so well. You know, they've got proper downforce on the front, so you can actually adjust the downforce on the front, unlike a GT car. They really do change direction. That's what makes them such fun things to drive. You can drive them so hard.
Certainly can. In the meantime, Lipsky's getting caught by Agadera.
I thought it was Ayrton Senna.
Some lap time at this point in time. Lipsky makes a very wide entry onto the back straight, and that's going to allow Agadera to really close up. Something's happened at the front. Kugami has all of a sudden just been overtaken by 2 cars.
Oh, so obviously had some sort of issue. Here we go. So down the inside goes Zhu. Kugami tries to late brake, and he's run really, really wide. Yep.
And he's just off the line. There's just no grip out there. He can't carry the speed.
He got to slow down because he went so wide off the end of the back straight. He got to slow down. So that's what happened there. Because although there's no incident points, the iRacing slowdown still happened.
Is a touch quicker than Oshan Colangelo in through Sector 1 as well as Kugamiya. So already starting to make some time, but he's going to have to try and time that run to get himself back onto the podium. We'll take a look a little bit further back down again at this battle pack. Well, Gretsch has managed to make his way past Raymakers. I can tell you, Kugamiya has just gone down the inside of Colangelo and had a big old slide out the outer side of the hairpin at turn 10. Just hangs on to the draft, but was so close to losing that car, and Colangelo might have just lost the draft of the car up ahead as well. Ian Zhu not offering a whole bunch of drafting assistance anymore to Colangelo. And time is running out. There might only be 2 more laps, I think, left in this race, given we have 2.5 minutes on the clock.
It is a great little circuit, this. It's got such lovely flow about it. Like this section here up onto the main straight, that's almost flat. Well, it is flat in one of these. This isn't, but it's a really good, fast corner that you got to be a bit careful on. not run too wide. Up into turn 1, 2, 3. This is what we call the complex. So up here under the bridge, hard on the brakes. You really need to take a lot off the curb on the inside, a lot of curb on the left. Try and get the exit speed really quick to this next right-hander. This is flat and it's full noise down here till you get down to where you run out of painted line, hard on the brakes, turn into the right. Use lots of curb again, run it wide and back over, lots of curb. Good line, O'Shan. And then over the curb on here because you want to try and hold the thing flat because that gives you all your speed down this straight. So that complex there is really technical and really, really nice piece of road. This is a very, very fast, sparked in. You've got to get the thing rotated in the middle, and then you've got the corner sort of widens as you come out so you can really get on it, get it flowing. Down here, it's a brake just past the white line, run it out to the curb and try and make a really late apex and fast exit. Use all of the road because this is the longest straight we've got. You've got an opportunity here to hone in on the guy behind by using his toe. You've got to run a bit of curb here. So O'Shan will run over this curb beautifully, run out to the next curb. Now it's through this one, you've got to stay wide because you want to be out here, hard on the brakes, turn it in, but not too hard. You've got to run speed right up to here. Hard now, rotate the car, get the car back across the right hand side of the road as fast as you can, look for the apex, run over the curb, beautiful line again, out over the curb, here, late turn in, hard on the pedal and try and get early rotation of the car to get the speed onto that front straight. There's a lap with Oceana and what a great job she's doing.
Yeah, well, I think she just took a touch worth of time out of Ian Zhu ahead. Either way, it's going to be the last lap of the race. So the difficulty they've now got is who's going to be able to get that move done because this will be their final opportunity. And the one thing I've been watching down the back straightaway is that they're not necessarily closing up enough time to be able to get the job done. Leo Dreyer just set the fastest lap of the race as well, sits down in 6th position. So don't think that the guys a little bit further back don't have a ton of pace. And then more moving for pace, I believe that was Lipsky getting back past Agadera all the way down the back end of the pack. And I can tell you, Colangelo's now, Ocean's now blocking from Kugamiya because Kugamiya is getting exceptionally close back up here. And they have made a little bit of time to Ian Zhu. In the meantime, our race leader has just gone past and lapped Ben Ryder. Unfortunately for Ben, has dropped off the lead lap. But it is going to be controlled race victory for Daniel McCrowan at the moment. Only a couple more corners left to navigate, and for Kane Kugamiya, needed to get a good run off the final corner onto the back straight. Did not get that.
Look at the slipstreaming battle behind them too, Scott. They're right across the road, left to right, trying to stay out, trying not to give the toe away. It's Schweikert and Dreyer. And Dreyer set the fastest lap, last lap through. So he's really on it. He's trying to find a way through. He's outside, inside, trying to find a way through it. Aiden just sit in the car in the middle of the road.
One more time through the final couple of corners. There's one more corner to navigate. Daniel McCrowan out of the last corner. He's going to take the race win. It's going to be from Ian Zhu. Kugamiya couldn't do anything to get back by O'Shan Colangelo. One mistake for Kugamiya. Unfortunately, he's cost him a place on the podium. Second and third goes to Ian Zhu from O'Shan Colangelo. And finally, Schweikert's going to round out our top 5 from Leo Dredd. Jason Debholm in 7th. Jim Stoddart from Raymakers as they all fight it out.
Might be 15th place, but this is worth everything. I've got to do it. I've got to push it. I'm run wide. I love that they're fighting so hard for 15th place. That's what makes it fun, and they will have a smile on their face from ear to ear. Especially Florentino, because he finished in front.
For Florentino, Agadera is going to take that 15th spot, plus 5 spots on the night for him. So a reasonable race and a reasonable overtaking effort. Matthew Bakir managed to pick up 6 spots across 20 minutes as well. So a good night at the office for Matthew Bakir.
A pretty good little introduction to F4 2024. So this is the unofficial series. So this is one we put on for all the guys who don't go into pro and are looking to get into F4, as we said, and privateers, anyone who's just starting early in the career, anything, doesn't matter. This is where you want to come and learn to drive. In pro, we're going to see some of the fastest guys in the world. We've got Damon Woods, we've got Damon's at the moment is just he just missed out on representing us at the Motorsport Games in F4. He's in the World Cup at the moment, along with his teammates, and there's some fantastic guys in this next one. This is the ultimate, the F4 Pro. is serious racing.
Yeah, it's going to be on for young and old when we jump across to the pro server in just a few moments as well. Just taking a quick look up and down the field. Vaughn Ryder, think about that name as well. Zach Rattray White joins the field where he wasn't available previously to join us. Job Stewart out of Super 2. Dylan Burse as well. And like you said, Damon Woods has the Damon Woods and Ben Roberts and Caleb Hydes all with professional licenses as they're competing in world championship events these days as well. We'll keep an eye on those guys.
They're representing the Oceanic region in the World Formula 4 Cup for iRacing. So that's pretty high level stuff, Scott. That's the top of the tree. You don't go much higher than that.
Finally over the page to our final couple of drivers, Chris Barnes and Ryan Stott. Ryan didn't qualify, unfortunately, last night for the service, therefore was not eligible to be part of the race. Chris Barnes, unfortunately, issues on lap 1. For Chris, we're going to get an opportunity to have a quick chat to Daniel McCrone as we get ourselves set up for the pro server here tonight. Dan, nice and easy one from where you sat, because you got away on lap number 1 and sort of set sail, put yourself in a really, really nice position. But it was all about getting that start, getting that launch, getting through the first couple of corners nice and easily.
Yeah, it didn't feel too easy from my point of view, but yeah, to get clear, and it's a very hard track to overtake on, so I knew if I could get away reasonably well, I'd be in good stead.
In terms of things, Misano was just, it's fast, it's flowing, you're right, it is technical. So many of the apexes here double backs. You really got to time them, but at the same time, trying to bring those tyres in those early couple stages, the rear end of the car does wander a bit in those opening laps.
Yeah, especially when we got the fixed setup where it's at the will of the driver, basically. So, but having that little buffer at the start, it did allow me to bring the tyres in gently, and difficult track. Yeah, totally, you're right.
Mate,
racing wasn't meant to be easy.
No, well, it was a lot harder when I was just the desk boy, David, but I've upgraded to 3 monitors thanks to you, mate.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Well, it made the difference, and with that huge prize money you won tonight, you're able to pay for them now.
yeah, thanks, mate. Appreciate that.
All right, well done.
Next time out, you headed off to the Saxon Ring. Confidence levels from the Saxon Ring, given that was on the Formula Ford schedule as well.
I actually missed that week in the Formula Ford, so yeah, I've got a bit of work to do.
Mate, new track, get out there, get on top of that one nice and early, and settle yourself in for a lovely ride. Mate, congratulations on the win tonight. Who would you like to thank?
Firstly, I'd love to thank my wife for letting me spend a hell of a lot of money to upgrade my equipment. And to my teammates, the Ryder brothers, they really helped me out. So, yeah, thanks, guys.
Mate, congratulations. Go off and enjoy with the boys.
Thank you.
Have we got enough time? I think we might have enough time to have a quick chat with Ian Zhu and Ocean Coliangelo as well. Ian, reasonably good run there. Difficult fight as well with Kane Kumigawa as well. That looks like that was a fun bit of racing in the F4 machinery around Misano.
Yeah, it definitely was, but I'm afraid that good racing, those battles cost us a potential fight for the win, because all those, just wasted time and let Daniel run away with it.
Mate, in terms of things, either way, at least you guys got to fight and go at it. Misano, not easy to overtake either, so timing it was all come down to a little bit of mistakes, I believe, on the side of Kane.
Yeah, no, everyone was super respectful, and from my end, it's just about being patient and finding the right moment.
Next week out, we're heading off to the Saxon Ring. How's the confidence levels heading to Germany?
I'm not sure. I had a reasonably good pace there with the Formula Ford, so let's see how I'll do with the Formula 4. So I'm pretty confident going into it, but we'll see the final result.
Mate, congratulations on second place here tonight. Who would you like to thank?
Thank you for the team, Vermilion Motorsport, and thank you for the organizer again for a very, very enjoyable event.
Congratulations, mate, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you very much. See you later.
And finally, one more quick chat here with Ocean Colangelo. Ocean, interesting little battle up and down the field in terms of that one. You were right there and in with it. You had to cover yourself on that last lap. Good fight back from Kane Kumigawa in behind you as well. That looked like that was a ton of fun.
Oh yeah, for sure it was. It was very close even from the start. With I had 5th place and 6 behind me as well, which luckily they dropped off a little bit, so I was just focusing in front, and I was trying to optimize with the 2 fighting in front, see if I could optimize any mistakes or when they were fighting. But it was super clean racing, nice and fun, nice and close right to the end.
You did a very good job in the early stages of that one. There was enough of a gap that sort of effectively the toe was broken to both Ian and Kane just up ahead of you. You got the head down though and drove nice and hard, got back to them. That was the big key for your race.
Yeah, for sure it was.
All right, is there anyone that you'd like to give a quick thank you and shout out to before we let you out here?
I'd say the guys from 75 Sim Sports.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time, Ocean, and we'll see you again next week when we head to the Saxon Ring.
All right, thank you. See ya.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to jump our way across to the Formula Ford Pro server, where I can tell you qualifying is already underway. 6 minutes through the qualifying session from the Pro server as it currently stands, and at this point in time, I can tell you Job Stewart sits on pole position. Although he's going to be challenged. Danny Davison's currently set the 2nd fastest lap time, although there's been issues for bursts in the opening stanza of things.
Yes,
Kalen Chin returns to the season as well, so after a little bit of a break out for the Formula Ford Championship, we'll see the Eclipse Sim Sport driver back in action as well. Back in just a few moments with the Pro server.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
It's motorsport, but not as you know it. Test yourself and your everyday road car. Safe, affordable, but most of all, fun. And all you need is your daily driver. Experience the thrill of a sprint day. Race against the clock at a hill climb. Or test your reflexes with an auto test. It takes just 3 simple steps to get started. Get on the start line. Search Motorsport Australia Daily Driver today.
Eddie Beswick's.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gents, and on with the show. The Formula Racing Group, FRG, brings you all the action from the Formula 4 Australian Championship. It was held late last year, rounds up and comes back with its 2nd edition in 2024. Now it's on to our pro drivers, and in terms of all the racing action, this is where it gets thick and fast. Drivers, instead of running a fixed setup in this server, will be bringing setups of their own creation. The benefit for the Formula 4, however, is there's not an excessive list of tools to play with. Little bit of wing angle, camber caster, suspension rates, all of that, but it's also one of the more trimmed out vehicles in terms of what you actually can tinker with, Dave, and therein lies the beauty. It is more of a raw machine rather than something that you have to spend hours trying to get the setup mastered.
Yeah, they keep it pretty simple because it is a learning formula. So it's like Formula Ford. You know, you got shock springs, roll bars, bit of camber caster, And the only addition you've got here is aero. But you know, people who dive for the aero and putting more wing on and that sort of thing, it's a cheap way out. And I think the guys who've come from Formula Ford and that understands shocks and springs a little better in the real world, and that gives them a big advantage because they don't always have to dive for more wing. They can get that as mechanical grip out of the car rather than aero grip. So it's really interesting. What I'm looking at here is this is just going to be such a hot race. So we've got Job Stewart, current Super 2 driver, fastest in the field at the moment. You've got Ben Roberts and Damon Woods, who are representing us in the Global Cup in second and third. Rat Ray White, who is just super quick in a Formula 4 again. Eddie Beswick there is in fifth. Now, he looks like he's going to be the national Formula 4 champion this season, if he's not already. I don't know whether he's won it yet or not, but certainly on to do so. So you got some real quality guys at the front of this field, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's going to be incredibly tight if it continues going on the way it is at the moment. You can just see drivers trying to make sure that they get out of each other's way if they're on a hot lap as it currently stands. 30 degrees Celsius track temp at the moment. Job Stewart's put a few laps together and he's just about going to call it for the remainder of the session. He's running out of time to get back out there, so I think this is going to be a pre-race P-break and a reset, refresh for him. Already done all the bits and pieces he needs to, but Ben Roberts was your Formula Ford Sport champion last time out, despite missing the final two races, and that was a big factor. Sits second at the moment, ahead of Damon Woods. Woods is going to have to find a little bit more time if he's going to try and get the job done in terms of pole position, but it's not going to be all his own way at the moment. Currently getting a double toe from Callum Newton and Eddie Beswick as he runs down the back straightaway, so we'll see if his lap time is going to be competitive or not. And I can tell you got very close to the couple cars that are ahead of him as he runs down and through the final sector. Might have cost him a little bit of time. There might have been an opportunity for Damon Woods to move to the top of the timing tree, but right now there's three cars and look how close together they are. Newton, Beswick, Damon Woods, they're all searching for every last skerrick of toe that they can possibly find. What was the lap time? 34.527. Damon Woods pops to the top of the timing charts, and he does it by some margin as well.
They're using that double toe there. He had two guys in front, which gives even a bit better toe than one. Still have to put that lap together. It's not just about getting a toe and, they gave me a free pole. You got to put the rest of the lap together, as you know, Scott. And and it becomes really hard when you get that good toe. You go, gee, I really can't afford to make a mess of this corner. I've got to get every corner right. And you get a great toe, it puts so much more pressure on you that quite often you don't go quicker. So that's really impressive.
The other thing to consider is when you get a really good toe, you are significantly faster when you enter the braking zone, and sometimes it can cause you to misjudge things as well. And you can just see Damon Woods tucks it in nice and low in the corner. Beswick is the driver that's just ahead of him, who didn't quite meet the apex that he was looking for. Still going to offer up the toe to the teammate. And we'll keep an eye in behind Kane Ryder. That was across to drivers right, our left, when we had a look at the shot that was getting out of the way and looking for the toe off of a few of these guys. Right now, Woods has run wide, as is Beswick. They ran it in there incredibly hot, and they'll get out of the way to allow Caleb Hydes to shoot through and try and take that toe and make some use of it, although he's backed out, so he's going to look for another opportunity to try and pick up a toe. I get the feeling, though, this first server, as soon as we hit that 15-minute session time, it was a hard cut over. So
yeah, there's no hard cut in qualifying. As long as they get when the time goes to zero, so long as they pass the finish line, they get to finish that lap. So again, just a bit more pressure. Oh, there's a snap sideways and straight off the road went whoever that was.
Either way, times are very close up and down the field. I'm seeing between Zach Rattray White, the 6th and 7th on the road, between himself and Isaac Becker at the moment, 0.02 of a second. There's 0.06 of a second between Kalen Chin, who's just jumped up into 4th spot, and will relegate Benjamin Roberts back to 5th. There's only 0.06 in that one. There's another 0.06 of a second back to Caleb Hydes, who sits now 6th place on the road as well. So there's not much in a whole bunch of these spots, and you've got to be on the track in the dying stage of the session. Job Stewart, who did eject effectively from the run earlier on. Still sits in the pit lane, still sits second place on the road though.
Yeah, and look, I'm looking at that Rat Ray White there, and he was third a minute ago, and now he's seventh. You know how quickly it changes. You've really got to be out there on the road, in the right place, at the right time. Now, I'm looking at Damon Woods' livery, which is going to confuse the hell out of us, whether he's going left or whether he's going right. It's like the old original BAR livery, split down the middle. It's Cyclops. Yeah.
And hybrid livery between the two teams that he's working on. Caleb Hydes, we're looking back from his rear wing structure at the moment.
It's like that. It's like the Sideshow Alley, you know, with the half man, half woman they used to have years ago. But I get to see him one side and go, that's Damon. I'm going to see him the other side and go, oh, hang on, is that Damon?
I suppose the difficulty will come in which side you're looking at effectively as they round the track. Right, qualifying's just about done as they cross the start-finish line here. Laps will be in the book and there will be no more opportunity. There's somebody who actually hasn't set a valid lap time at this point in time, just ahead of Josh Horton. Sebastian Vandel still yet to set a valid lap time. He's down in the final sector and on his run to the final corner as it currently stands.
And Rat Ray White has pushed himself back up to fourth place. I said he was seventh a minute ago. Now he's back to fourth. So yeah, where's Vandel gone?
23rd, but does set a valid lap time will be the big key.
Yep. So Caleb Hyde is still on a lap, so we'll
so qualifying now in the books and your results have already been run and done. Nobody remaining on a valid lap time as it currently stands and everyone's sort of set their laps. A few doing final pit lane entries because it's an aggressive little pit lane entry. Very, very narrow too and the walls are right there. There could be a mistake on the way into the lane, unfortunately, this evening if they're not careful.
I love the way they paint the curbs and the runoff areas these days, Scott. It just makes the racetracks that much more exciting and presentable and alive, doesn't it? Look at Misano sitting there. It looks fantastic.
Does indeed. It also gives the circuits each a little bit of their own culture.
Personality.
Yeah. All right, 15 minutes qualifying behind us now. We will jump into a 30-minute race. What does that mean for the drivers? There is an expected pit stop. Not a required pit stop, an expected pit stop says that fuel will not make the distance. How deep into the race is that going to happen? Well, that comes up to the drivers, albeit they will want to keep these cars as light as they physically can, meaning they're very, very likely to run very late into the run. But it'll also come down to how much battling is going on. Damon Woods and Job Stewart are going to be P1 and P2 on the grid. Of third and fourth, though, is going to be Eddie Beswick from Zat Rattray White on the second row of the grid. It'll be an interesting one to keep half an eye on. Kalen Chien, after being so quick during the Super Formula Light earlier in the year, sits on the third row of the grid off alongside of Ben Roberts. In behind them, Caleb Hydes and Isaac Becker are going to be fourth row of the grid. The top 10 is going to be made up by Kane Ryder and Danny Davison as they will round us out. Kane was so quick in the final few rounds of the Formula Ford series. Can he make a little bit of time and perhaps challenge for race wins here? Outside of the 11 is going to be Dylan Burst from Josh Horton. We'll throw it back to the 7th row of the grid for Hayden Millington and Rishab Banerjee. Out of 15th and 16th, Byron Phillips from Chris Mitchell all the way back down there. Chase Saxild out of 17th will be alongside of Tyler Kalea. Matthew Hansford Taylor and Geordie Slater are going to be out of 19th and 20th. Matt Ciroli and Alexander Wilson from 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Sebastian Vandel, Thomas Donahue. We'll have to rattle through these ones as well. It's going to be Seth Burchardt from Kenny Konomas, Mitchell Albert from Alex Beswick. As we get back to 28th, Vaughan Ryder in 29th, Callum Newton in 30th, and Corey Bennett in 31st is going to be our entire grid. Back to the pointy end of things, though, because here come the Formula 4 Australia representatives, and Damon Wood's got a reasonable getaway. How are the field going to fare in behind him? Job Stewart did not launch that car off as quickly as he necessarily would have liked. Beswick's already gone around the outside. Rattray White's going to line him up and have a crack as well. And Stewart's on the outside at turn 2, does manage to survive, hangs on to 4th spot. And now they'll all try and single file themselves out. There's going to be battling thick and fast as everyone tries to battle for a little bit of track position. Kalen Chin at the moment holding off Caleb Hydes. Ben Roberts from Danny Davison. Roberts has gone backwards on the start as well here. So we'll keep a little bit of an eye out for those guys as they try to cut their way back through. Kane Ryder managed to cut his way through, still sits 9th on the road. Isaac Becker, Josh Horton, and the horde of F4s that are running in the background, as well as everyone chases a draft in the back straight away. Keep your eyes on this. Anything could happen when we get to the end of turn 8 down here.
You are looking at the best of the best out here at the moment, though. So, you see there, they're 3-4 abreast through the corner. These guys have a lot of skill, and there's, they're doing a great job of keeping it clean, giving each other room, and at the same time trying to make their way up. Now, what's really interesting, got a little gap of 4, but 4 P5, so Kalen Chin's got a little bit of a gap in front of him, but that's not a bad thing to have. He's just giving himself a little bit of room to work on the guys in front rather than being stuck right up the gearbox.
Yeah, but the difficulty will be is if that gap opens just a little bit, that's where he'll be in trouble. Danny Davison now sits in 8th spot. He's got some work to do, sits just over a second back, and the cars ahead have got draft. He won't. Kane Ryder might be starting to get just a touch aggressive on him if he thinks he can certainly tow his way up to the next group. So work to be done as lap number 1 in the books for Formula Ford Pro for 2024, and back to business as usual as Damon Woods leads the way.
Yeah, and it's Davison that's dropped off the gap in front, so there's quite a big gap there in front of him. So we've got a lead pack of, looks like 8, I think it is, and then a bit of a gap to Davison, and then another pack of about 8 or 10. That they'll stay that way for a long time during this evening. So, and these guys also, they'll make a pit stop in here because they've got a limited amount of fuel, so they have to make a pit stop somewhere in the 30 minutes, unless there's enough safety cars that they actually can get through on the amount of fuel. So there's a little bit of strategic thought there for them to do this evening as well. But at the moment, it's just good hard racing at the front. And they're all trying to work out who's got a weakness and where it is.
And I can tell you, Kalen Chin's just having a bit of a go and trying to have a crack at Job Stewart. Hasn't worked out. He was forced to the inside and got away from the faster line of cars, all with the tow. So Stewart come under a little bit of threat there as Chin trying to advance his position in the queue. He might have
an issue. I'll be back in a second.
Might have another crack as they get down here into the hairpin as well. And I'm just keeping an eye in the background as well. I can tell you Ben Roberts is actually trying to save some fuel, and that's actually allowed Danny Davison just to close back in. So every single time they head into a braking zone, you just see Ben Roberts just fall back off the pack just a little bit, and then gets back on the gas and closes back in once more. So at the tail end of the field, car 29, Alex Beswick. No further action for an incident on lap number 1. And Danny Davison goes ahead and sets the fastest lap of the race in the opening stanza as well, as he tries to drive his way back up to the leaders. That's working for everyone involved. Kane Ryder's got some work to do though, because he's lost just a touch of ground. But for the meantime, they all settle in. Just for now, 30 minutes will decide things, but everyone's single-filed out at the moment. Except for right at the back of the field, Jordan Mazzaroli's having a crack at Alexander Wilson. Was the only move I just saw. Now they'll try and cut their way back through, making some more time. Has Davison lost that pack yet again? I think he might have. Yeah, he has dropped another few hundredths of a second. Tenths of a second. Kalen Chin, though, is going to go ahead and have another crack at Job Stewart. You can see that he just thinks he's a touch faster at this point in time, but the defense from Stewart's been rather stout. And Kalen Shin picked up a slowdown, used it just a touch too much curb. He's trying to make sure that he drops in without losing the pack of cars. And has managed to now clear that one. Ben Roberts now will go ahead and set the fastest lap of the race as he tightens up to the back end of the pack. And at the moment, movers and shakers. Chase Saxfield's been the driver on the biggest move, along with Byron Phillips. Both of those guys up 4 spots. Sebastian Vandel, though, from 23rd on the grid. The late qualifier had to set it on the final lap of qualifying. Did so, up to 18th. So for the meantime,
Back.
and Vandel is still cutting his way through. He's just made a move on Rashad Banerjee. Now he's going to go the long way round when they get down here. 2x2 down through 9 and 10.
Wonder what Vandel's issue was during qualifying, Scott. That'd be interesting to know, wouldn't it?
Just wondered whether or not he picked up off tracks, was just not in the right places at all the right times, and was forced to put that lap together nice and late. It's going to go the long way round on Banerjee as they go side by side. The run down the back straightaway. He's forced to the outside. They do make just a touch of wheel-to-wheel contact, and Vandel comes away with the spot eventually on the outside line. Commitment from Vandel. Unfortunately for Geordie Slater, rear end of the car gets away from him.
The car looks straight though, so that's good. He can get back in there. A little bit of chatter there from race control, so I'm sure they'll be reviewing that incident. So there's absolutely, oh yes, oh, don't know who that was underneath, but I'm glad this is only a simulation.
Certainly a wild ride for Geordie Slater.
Hmm.
And now finds himself off the rear end of the pack. Unfortunately,
race control will be having a good look at that, I'm sure. This is very, very tight at the front, and Eddie Beswick's all over the back of Damon Woods at the moment. I know they're teammates, but they both want to win. And Rat Ray White's doing a nice job there in third, and Joe Stewart, debut in F4 here with us. Fantastic job. So this is far from over, and there's a pit stop in the middle too. Just the time it takes them in the pits could make all the difference here. And like you said, there is a very, very tricky entry, and you've got a really, really long pit exit here. So there's a bit of time to spend in that pit lane, so that could make a lot of difference, Scott.
I think the biggest thing at the moment is just who is saving a little bit of fuel. We definitely said Ben Roberts was doing that in the earlier stages of this one. Kalen Chin slots back in on the cusp of losing a toe to the cars ahead after the slowdown penalty on a previous lap. He'll try and bring himself back forward. Benefit is through all of the faster corners. He's got clean air to the front wing. In the meantime, Roberts still trying to close up, stick with these guys. This will be a really good opportunity to see how much fuel Roberts is really saving.
No further action. Hayden Millington on lap 4, so that's good. That's good news for Hayden. He'll be happy to see that.
Yeah, maybe just a touch of saving from Ben Roberts. I don't know. It doesn't look like he's saving a lot, but I get the feeling just with the way that he drives the cars, and most of the cars, he does tend to try and do that. Now there's going to be a little bit of drafting support.
Good little move there. It was interesting because Job Stewart went very, very wide on the exit from that turn, and Ratway White made a very wide entry and a shallow exit. Got up beside him, but then they were just nice move down the inside. Rat Ray White on Job Stewart, slid it down the inside. Can he hold it around the outside here? I don't think so. It's pretty tough out there. And now what they're doing is slowing each other up. And look, the first two have jumped away. After 2 corners, they've jumped away, and now they're almost out of the toe.
And now once more, Rattray White's going to try and go the long way around at turn 1. Does manage to maintain overlap. He'll get to the inside at turn 2. Is he afforded enough space? Job Stewart's still going to keep the nose in. And he's going to carry the pace off here. Rattray White's going to try and pinch him, keep him narrow as they exit down through turn 3. Now to turn 4. And the front two just look at this and go, yep, we're going to run away from this one. Job Stewart's still hanging onto the spot. Rattray White back to the inside. Big slide through the middle of turn 6.
And look at Hyde. Caleb Hyde's jumping on this, the opportunity, because they slowed each other up out of the corner. Hyde's got the run and he's got one done. Can he get the second one? No, he can't. And Roberts there trying to take advantage of this as well. That's the trouble when you make a move in F4. If you make a move and it's not decisive and it carries on for a corner or two, suddenly everybody behind you have got the run. There's a nice little slide down the inside by car 7, which is that Chris Mitchell?
It's Kalen Chin.
Kalen Chin, why's he got 7 on?
Well, running number 7, and Ben Roberts is going to slide back
74.
Through the outside.
So, 74, Kalen Chin. Look at this battle here. They're just all over each other. But that's why there's a big gap in front of them.
Yeah, they're trying to track down. Dylan Burst has just gotten to the head of the second pack.
Somebody's dispatched there. That's
So
a big one. Byron Phillips there. Yep. Just clipped the front of looked like Chase Axel, and it wasn't Chase's fault. He was driving and somebody slid a bit wide, and that was that. But that'll be to the pits for a wing and I'd suggest probably a tank full of fuel.
And Roberts is going to actually jump to the pit lane. There's a few drivers who are all jumping to the pit lane at the earlier opportunities, looking for some advantage if they can find it.
I like those silver paint jobs that I'm seeing down the back. I don't know who that is, but there's 2 of them, I think, 2 silver painted cars. They look really cool.
In the meantime, Dylan Burst has got to the lead of the third pack and is now trying to run down the next group ahead of them. And Chase Saxfield's managed to go with him, so there'll be a little bit of a 2-car train working together. Hansford Taylor's currently trying to cover off Sebastian Vandel, who continues his charge through the field. It's 12th at the moment. Remembering there have been now some pit stops that have been completed, so they do change that effective order up quite a bit. There's some moving going on in terms of that one. And very, very quickly, zeroing in on half race distance as well. Only 17 minutes left to run.
Now, these 2 guys in the front are both national Formula Ford races in Australia. Eddie there in second place, looking like he's going to take out the Formula Ford Championship here in Australia this year. And Damon is a pretty regular competitor on, particularly in the Victorian front. So, yeah, they've got a little bit of real-world experience. And, Eddie's been known for being a bit petulant sometimes behind the wheel. Gets a bit excited and makes a silly move, but he's really matured this season with Formula Ford, and what I'm seeing here is some really smart driving. He knows just sit in the wheel tracks, don't challenge Damon, you don't need to lead, you just need to make sure that there's nobody within striking distance of you, because if you start fighting with Damon in front, they'll have a pack of 7, you can easily be 6th over the line. If you just sit there in second, the worst you'll be is second. This is smart, and he's just got to pull. He's got to have a really, really, really big move on the last lap, and that's what he's going to look for. But yeah, they've got a pit stop and that to go yet. But I'm really impressed with Eddie's driving. He's being really smart here behind the wheel. That's good to see.
Yep, driving an incredibly smart race at the pointy end of things. Just keeping an eye on Sebastian Vandel and Matthew Hansford Taylor are going for a very, very heavy stoush at the moment. Chris Mitchell's just bought into that arrangement as well, so that one will be worth keeping half an eye on as they look to maybe go 3 wide on the run down at 9 and 10. And in the meantime,
they're fighting hard everywhere, aren't they, Scott? They're just everywhere you look, they're fighting hard. Except at the front, they're being smart. So look at these 3 guys; they're all over each other. Oh, well, there's a bit of a touch there. Is that Chris Mitchell trying to get down the inside? So it's Mitchell, Hansford Taylor, and just shallow entry there to try and shut him down. So that's something.
Hansford Taylor in the red and white livery, and Chris
Mitchell's gone into the pit lane, dived into the pit lane for his pit stop. So that's interesting. Job Stewart's now running third, Kalen Chin in fourth. Isaac Becker, now Isaac's not, I don't think he's run with us before. There's a nice move around the outside. That was a really, really nice move, boys. Take it easy. Don't finish your race here. Oh, this is getting a bit harsh. It's a bit of wheel banging and a bit of, a bit ragged. Oh, this is going to end in tears.
Oh, there it is.
And there's the tears.
Right on cue. And for Hansford Taylor, you'll have no idea that there was a wheel off that car and the rear wing certainly off that car. I think that's just about night done, unfortunately, for Hansford Taylor. Yeah, he's got no ability to turn that car whatsoever.
He'll be calling race control for a tow in a minute. Don't back onto the road. Okay. It's not going anywhere. Matthew, just call for a tow. So, Kalen Chin set the fastest lap, so that's interesting as well. So he's sitting there in fourth at the moment. The leaders haven't been into the pits. Damon Wood now. Hold on. We've got. Where's Eddie gone? Eddie's gone to the pits, has he? Eddie Beswick, is he taking a pit stop? Yes. No? Yeah, he's down in 16th.
Right, Eddie Beswick's already been through the lane and taken his stop.
He dropped so far down because I forget how long this pit lane is and how long the pit stop takes. So you don't just drop 10 spots, you drop the whole field. But yeah, so Beswick's here and he'll come out on fresh rubber. Not fresh rubber, you have the old rubber, but it'll be a little bit cooler. And he'll be looking to do some really, really quick laps to try and sort of put some pressure on Damon and see if he can undercut him. But I'm not sure the undercut really works for these cars.
Yeah, it's going to be tight either way, and this will be our first opportunity to have a look at it and see whether or not that undercut strategy is going to work. And I can tell you, Hansford Taylor's still trying to resurrect that car. So he is still out on the track.
Oh, he's trying to drive it back. Yeah, okay. He's got it going.
Yeah, but both the right-hand side tyres are off the ground, so he's only got left-hand sides to stick with. He's going to have a problem when he gets down here. And there's
lacking a little bit of grip in the rear there. Oh, take it easy. It's all over the road. Sometimes you probably should call for a tow, hey, Scott?
Yeah, I'd be giving up on that one from Matthew Hansford Taylor's perspective. He's waiting for a big pack of cars to go, and as soon as they clear him, he'll be trying to get clear. But Job Stewart's now defeated in line.
So, have we got any transition times, comparison of transition times or anything? I'm not sure we have, but yeah, it's such a long pit lane.
So we'll have a look at Job Stewart on the way in there, and then this is another one of the Eclipse SimSport pairings. This is Hydes and Chen. At this point in time, Caleb Hydes has been charging through the field. Done a reasonable job to gain himself 5 spots.
Yeah, they're playing smart, sitting behind each other, don't upset the line. They'll be talking to each other on comms as well to say, yo, mate, you lead, I'll pass you down the back straight or whatever it is. But they'll be working together, which is smart. They're running P2, P3 at the moment, but Damon Woods is 2.2 seconds up the road. You can see him just up the road in front. So, Isaac Becker, I think Isaac's done a great job. He's only 1.5 seconds off the back of Kalen Chin here. It's a really nice job tonight. And there's Kalen Chin sliding past on the back straight. Yes, I'll take the lead now. I'll lead for this lap. You can have it again the next lap. And there's Matthew Hansford Taylor getting closer and closer to pit lane.
The tricky part is he's going to have to enter the lane here in a few seconds. And that's effectively going to block the lane, so nobody's going to be able to come through the lane.
That is an issue, isn't it?
So we're just going to have to keep an eye on that and how that's going to progress, because that will be relevant to the overall strategy. He's just fed in Tyler Kaleha, I believe. No, it's Hayden Millington who's just fed into the lane just ahead of him. No, he's made it. I tell you, he's made it into the lane. So after all of that, for Hansford Taylor.
That Benny Roberts there trying to put moves on Job, and he made the move, and he nearly lost the position to Rat Ray White behind him because, again, as he made that move and it didn't come off, the car slows, then the guy behind you has got to run, and instead of moving forward a position, you move back one. But you've got to be decisive with these moves when you can, and it's pretty hard in these cars.
I think one of the bigger factors at this point in time is have a look at the time they've made on Beswick. So either Beswick's entry or exit through the lane was quite slow because they were starting to push clear at the front end of that battle pack. So Ben Roberts has made a significant amount of time and pulled himself back forwards, but they've also run away. This pack has run away from Kane Wright and Danny Davison as well.
Yeah, I think Danny and Kane are just lacking that little bit of edge of speed, just that tenth or so each lap that makes the difference. He's Roberts really wide on the way and trying to get that really fast run out. But see, he's got push in the middle of the corner. Car got wide. Whether that's an aero push from being in the dirty air of Job in front, probably the case. But he just couldn't get that exit, couldn't get on the pedal. Now here goes Job down the inside, and he'll make this move easy because. Oh, gee, they do get close, don't they? Luckily, we've got an all-Australian server where they can run really close, a lot closer than you can with international servers, and a little bit of lag you get in the network with such long distance. So, Chris Mitchell's he's just got no further action for causing an incident. Chris has got away with murder again. That's nice to see. We do tease Chris because he used to sit in this seat and do the commentary. But there's Damon Wood back out of the pit lane. He's where's he going to sit on the road?
He has come back out ahead of all of these guys.
And he's come out with a big lead over Eddie Beswick.
Caleb Hydes has jumped a whole bunch of guys out on the road as well. So Hydes, I wonder whether or not for Caleb Hydes that was a very, very short stop. Hansford Taylor's now going to be in the pit lane for a very long time, so we won't be looking at that one too much.
Damon's always been very, very good with his pit stops. It's one of the things that he's very cool, calm, and collected in the lane. A bit of a Piastri, I think, and he doesn't get flustered. He's always on the mark, and he always seems to make one of the fastest pit stops of the night. So, and it makes a lot of difference because it's really hard to find a half a second on the road. It's really easy to find a half a second in pit lane.
Yeah, it certainly is. And pit stop times up on the screen on the right-hand side.
Look at that.
And Kalen Chin and Dylan Burst are now into the lane as well. 7 minutes, under 4.5 minutes left in this race. So that one has flown by for the pro guys.
Look at Eddie Beswick's pit stop time, but the pit lane time was 40.6. See, it's the pit lane time there that Damon Wood's really quick, 40.2. But if you look at the actual stop time, Beswick was by far the quickest. So that means he took less fuel. Did he take less fuel? Is he cutting it a bit finer? Is he not leaving a lot of margin in the tank?
Kalen Chin's going to feed back out in the middle of this pack as well.
Yep.
Stewart's going to
it's not looking pretty.
Hydes ran very, very deep and has had to get a long way out of it. He's lost 4 or 5 spots as a result of that one. Job Stewart skips through to the front end of this group now, and Kalen Chin's going to try and build some momentum back on him. He'll show the nose as he does get a run back to the inside. 3 wide in the background here is Rattray White. I think Ben Roberts might be in the middle of that one as well, and Caleb Hydes tries to recover some of what he's lost. Beswick's going to the rear end of this group now as well. Sits 6th on the road, so they're all going to fight all over it as it currently stands. Who's going to try and go the long way around? Roberts on the outside of Zach Rattray White as they get down to 9 and 10.
Roberts got the same thing there again. He had that wide entry, but the car just won't turn into the apex, and he cannot get on the power, and that's losing him the run down the straight. So he's certainly got a little bit of mid-corner understeer in that car that's not helping him out. Quick in a straight line, though.
Yeah, very quick, and now he'll get right up and underneath the rear wing of Rattray White. Rattray White makes some time on Job Stewart. Kalen Chin and him now duking it out for second place on the road. In the meantime, Damon Woods pulls a Damon Woods and skips clear to the tune of nearly 3 seconds over Kalen Chin. Chin's still trying to really hold off Job Stewart because Job is just about to have another crack at him.
A bit wide in the background there. It looks like somebody got a slow down. I think they cut the corner a little bit too much there.
Caleb Hydes has had a drama black flag for potentially either a unsafe pit lane entry, unsafe pit lane exit, speeding through the lane somewhere, or an unserved slowdown penalty would be the only options on that one. So
I'm guessing it'll be my guess would be an unserved penalty, because they try and run them as fine as they can, so they lose as little time as they can. If you do that, sometimes you can just get caught.
I might even be crossing the white line a touch too early for Caleb Hides as well on the way out. Unsafe pit lane exit. Going to follow the on-track guidance here at Misano. And back up to the pointy end of things, so that'll take Caleb Hides out of the action. I think it's dropped him well down in terms of the 20s, outside the 20s as well. So he's had to sit there and take his medicine.
This battle here, second, third, fourth and fifth, is absolutely fabulous. They are all over each other. Look at this run down the inside from Job, and he's making a move on Chin. Down on the inside, that's a good move. Down the inside, hold him out wide, and then see Ray White trying to sneak up on the inside as well. Hold him out there, run him out of road, see if you can get the run down the outside. But Chin's got great drive out of there and gets back in front, and it all starts again. This is an absolute superb race.
Down to the final corner, Rattray White is just going to force Job Stewart very, very wide. He basically just put the nose in an awkward spot. Now Job's going to get a little bit of a run. Rattray White's going to try and go the outside of it. 3 wide, and it's a little bit of contact's been made, wheel-to-wheel contact, which you felt might have just been inevitable. Rattray White's had to go ahead and cut the course. He'll pick himself up a slowdown penalty, try and drop a few spots and clear that slowdown as quickly as he possibly can.
He's dropped about 3 or 4, I think.
What's the damage, though, to the front couple now? I think they might have got out of it okay for Job Stewart's perspective.
This is wild.
Still keep throwing it. Chin's going to cover all the way to the inside. Not off with the toe. Ben Roberts is now back up to 4th spot and trying to fight back through these guys as well. Stewart going to go the long way around when they get down to 7 and 8 once more.
Kane Ryder's in here as well, Scott. Kane's come up through the field. He's sitting there in 5th place. So, he's dropped to 6th now because Ray White's got him back. This is just crazy. Every time you blink, the change. Oh, there we go. I blinked.
And Danny Davison also caught back into this pack, now sits 7th, and if they keep squabbling, next car on the road's only 2 seconds off the tail end of it, so Isaac Becker might become another car that'll be a part of this one. In the meantime, Roberts is trying to get through and underneath Kalen Chin. Chin made the mistake as they come off of 9 and 10, cutting his way through the field. Job Stewart sits back to 2nd, moves himself to the head of this battle
there's a loss
as well, and around goes the car at the rear end of the train. It's going to be Danny Davison.
He's got it back on the road. He only lost 1 spot out of that. Well done, Danny. Nice recovery. Get it back out there, baby. That was just lost the rear under brakes there. Through that little kink, you've got to brake as you're sort of turning. Here's another nice little battle. Chase Axel chasing another one of our really young guns. Great go-kart racer here. He's got his hands full of Dylan Burse, who is one of our real top drivers. He's fantastic in an F4, awesome in the Formula Ford, great in an F3. Yeah, really good driver and lots of experience. But Chase has got real-world experience in a go-kart, so he's going to take him on.
Well, the big thing for Dylan Burse is he hasn't put a load of practice into this series for tonight. It would have only been today where he would have put the head down and put the focus on it. He was co-driver of the day yesterday during the Logitech Pro Invitational Bathurst 1000. So he's had a supreme weekend in terms of challenging himself. Drove alongside Griffin Gardner to 2nd place in the 1000. It was a very long day at the office. Took on the co-driver duties, did very well, and gave Griffin Gardner a supreme amount of time to take a break. Saxhill still harassing him, but it's time to probably check in with that 2nd through to 7th Group 1. It'll be white flag when we get back here for one more lap left to run. There's 1 minute on the racing server as it currently stands. So time is just about expired. Damon Woods will get across and take the white flag. He's now out to a 6-second lead just about.
He's
more
dominated,
lap left to run.
He's absolutely dominated. Has not put a foot wrong. Just superb. He struggled a little bit with a couple of the international events. He had a really disappointing first round of the global series, which I'm sure he wasn't happy with. But hopefully this series will give him a little bit more time in the F4 and a little bit sharpen up his skills in the thing and be able to go back and really take it to the Europeans, because the Europeans really dominated the first round of the Global Series. So, this is fantastic to see this battle here with, what have we got, 6 cars in the fight for second place. There's a big move down the outside, try and get a bit of run. That's a lovely move down the inside by Rat Ray White. He really had that really shallow line over the curve, and he came out with tremendous speed, but unfortunately, he's on the outside. We got a problem. Bang! That's Chin around, and that's I think that's Roberts upside down, is it?
Yeah, it was Ben Roberts bouncing over the top of him. So Caelan Chin and Ben
got a
Roberts
wing on it.
are going to go to the tail end of the field in terms of that little battle pack. Caelan Chin lost the rear wing. Eddie Beswick's also lost the rear wing. Isaac Becker scoots through and picks up a whole bunch of spots on the final lap of the race. Job Stewart got to the point. Everyone else dived and had a go at everyone else in that final lap, and that bought him a whole bunch of time. So he's going to get home in second. Rattray White's going to come home from third. Kane Ryder scoots through and is going to pick up 4th place as it currently stands as well. Becker gets through to 5th. But no one was touching Damon Woods tonight. That one was pretty much signed, sealed, and delivered very, very early on. Beswick's going to get home from Caelan Chin at the tail end of that pack as well. Oh boy, it all kicked off on that final lap like you would not believe.
Yeah, we might pick up a little replay of that Caelan Chin incident if we're lucky. But I've got to say, Damon, absolute class of the field. Brilliant job. I do think the fastest 3 guys finished 1, 2, 3 tonight. I think Job and Rat Ray White were really, they were class. Just seemed to have that little bit of an edge over the other guys. The only guy there that probably has really deserved to be out at the front was Caleb Hides. I think that was hard done by for Caleb, unfortunately. But Caelan Chin, normally super fast, will be just missing that little edge tonight in speed. So he'll do some work before next week, I expect. Can't wait to see these guys at Sachsenring. Here we go.
Here we go. So this is the replay. This is round number 9. Chin goes down the inside. Rattray White's on his outside. I think he lost it on his own. Yep.
Yeah, I think he did too. Yeah. He just seemed to just pinch the brake and just lost the rear end. So here we go from behind. We're riding with Ben Roberts, and see he's done the shallow, hard on the brakes. I don't know. Was there net code? I think there might have been net code in that.
Yeah, not much really in it. It's just tight. It's really, really good hard racing for Caelan Chin. We're going to have a look at it from his perspective.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well.
Very, very tight racing.
Yep.
Last lap, got to go for it from Caelan Chin's perspective, because he doesn't go for it, it's all over. And the other problem is they're all lining him up to have a crack around the outside as well. So he had to get in there deep, down the inside. He did that, and it just didn't come off, unfortunately.
Well, looking at this, fantastic. For this is a national championship. It's authorised by Motorsport Australia, so it's a genuine national championship. You become the national Esports Formula 4 champion of Australia, and that's a pretty serious little notch on your CV as a race driver, as a potential international esports race driver, and that's a pretty serious sort of little career these days. So. That's pretty cool. I know the international series that Damon and Eddie and Dylan Burst and whatever are running. That's the prize money for that's $25,000 prize money for that series. So there's a bit on offer here tonight. There's for this series a bit of cash here. It's certainly not in the range of 25,000, but it just shows you the level of seriousness when you've got guys here that are able to go out and compete in the front of a $25,000 prize money series. We're talking about some serious drivers out here now.
Yeah, so we'll run back through the top 10 just very, very quickly. It's going to be Damon Woods from Job Stewart, Zach Rattray White home in 3rd, Kane Bird in 4th, Isaac Becker in 5th, Eddie Beswick 6th, Caelan Chin from Denny Davis and Ben Roberts home in 9th after all of that, and Dylan Burst home in 10th. Wasn't quite able to pick up the spot on the final lap of the race. Chase Saxfield, first driver outside your top 10 from Richard Banerjee. Seth Burchart drove through the field nice and easily. Mitchell Albert from Chris Mitchell home in 15th. Kenny Kanomas 16th. Wilson home in 17th. Thomas Donahue from Tyler Kaleha and Vaughan Ryder all the way back down in 20th. Outside of your 20, it was Alex Beswick with issues throughout the night, Callum Newton from Josh Horton, Jordan Mazzarelli had a spin very, very early on, Geordie Slater, Caleb Hydes with the penalty went from inside that battle, inside the top 10, all the way out to 26. That's how close the field is. Hayden Millington from Sebastian Varndell had an issue with qualifying. Hensford Taylor, Byron Phillip, 2 of the retirements, 10 and 13 laps down respectively. And we did have Corey Bennett was not eligible, unfortunately did not start that race. That is the field. We'll start from the bottom end of the podium and work our way forwards. We're going to be talking to the driver who managed to go ahead and pick himself up a few spots in that final lap of the race. Zach Rattray White, mate. Formula 4 racing is exciting because it's always going on. You don't really get often a moment to think to yourself, and that last lap just about had it all.
No, that was pretty hectic, eh? That was very full on.
Mate, in terms of things, Misano, very, very wide circuit, obviously has all of the opportunity to leverage the runoff zones that are in operation here. Carrying speed is the big name of the game. If you're not carrying the speed, somebody behind you will be, and they'll absolutely have a crack. Difficult to get the job done in terms of the Formula 4 here tonight too.
Yeah, I think I was off the track more than I was on it at some points of the race, so I was definitely using it to my advantage, I guess.
In terms of things, challenging with just the group and the quality of the drivers are actually up at the front and in the pointy end of the argument here. Saxon Ring provides a little bit more of an opportunity for the drivers to showcase their skill set. Looking forward to next week.
I've never turned a single lap at that place, so I got no clue what's going to happen. So I could be way down the back for all I know.
Mate, good news. Everyone in the Formula Forward series just about said the same thing when we were heading there last season out. Congratulations on 3rd place here tonight, Zach. Who would you like to thank for the Vermilion Esports crew?
Just Ben for giving me Hyperdoc and Seth as well. They give me good tips for the Formula 4.
Mate, congratulations on the racing here tonight. We'll see you again next week.
Cheers, mate. See you then.
See ya. We'll take one step further forward. Driver for Super 2 in the real world, Job Stewart's had a reasonably successful year behind the wheel of the simulator as well, including podiums in other series. Job, she's a little bit of a different feeling to the stuff that you're normally used to driving, but boy, that looked like a whole host of fun.
Yeah, it was heaps of fun. Thanks, guys. Yeah, it's a bit different to what I'm used to the V8s and the Porsche and stuff like that. But yeah, thought I'd have a go in the open wheelers, and yeah, it was heaps of fun racing all these guys in here. These things are kind of slow, but it actually provides for some good racing.
Mate, it's always challenging just being able to pull the car up. Obviously, we're looking at coming into that second to last lap. You sort of positioned yourself really nicely, had to get the job done on Kalen Chin. Proved crucial. You got to sit there for the last lap and just watch it all unfold in the rear view.
Yeah, for sure. Once you're in front of a pack of cars, it is hard to keep it down the straight with the big toe, and it's crucial to get good exits, especially onto those long straights with the low horsepower. But yeah, once I got past him and those guys started battling, I was looking in my mirrors and I got pretty happy there towards that last lap.
Mate, next time out, so this time Misano, obviously quite a well-known circuit from the MotoGP calendar. Next time we're heading to Saxon Ring, known for its GT3 racing, but it's tight, technical, and tricky. Have you ever turned many laps at the Saxon Ring circuit, given it?
Do some laps and yeah, test it out, ready for next week.
Well, mate, congratulations on second place here tonight. Who would you like to extend a thank you to?
Yeah, thanks. Just thanks to ERT for tonight and for bringing me on board.
Mate, congratulations with all the results. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you in the future as well.
Thanks, mate. See ya.
We'll take one step further forward to tonight's winner. He makes an absolute habit of this. Damon Woods wins another one, and it looked pretty calm, cruisy, and under control up in front, mate. But Eddie Beswick took you. He made you work hard for it in the early stage, but you guys worked together really, really well as well.
Yeah, I saw that Zach and Joe were going pretty hard at it early on, so I said to Eddie, time to push, and we dropped the hammer, and we were able to break the toe in the first sector, and then yeah, from then on we drove away. And unfortunately, Eddie decided to forget to put in race fuel for the start, so he had to pit early. If he didn't have to pit early, it would have been a very different story. He would have been, if not in front of me after the pit stops, and we would have had a good battle. But it is what it is. Luck kind of prevails in some of these races, and I had plenty of it tonight.
In terms of things, man, a little bit different to the Formula Ford machinery we saw you in a couple of weeks ago, but the challenge is that, you know, the cars can follow just a touch close together, that downforce, a little bit more grip across the course of the platform, but unique nonetheless. It creates brilliant racing.
Yeah, the racing's fantastic. It's really good when you got people you can trust. So, you know, Zach, I trust a fair bit as well, even though we're not in the same team. So yeah, it's handy having the people around you that you know you can race hard with. But you know, you're going to get situations where, you know, similar to Fortress, where I got taken out. But yeah, if everyone keeps a level head this season, I think the racing's going to be fantastic, and it's going to be an awesome championship battle, I reckon.
I wasn't really going to mention it, but seeing that you've brought it up, is this championship sort of a little bit of an opportunity for redemption for not having the opportunity to represent Australia in Spain?
No, to be fair, I just want to go back to back and grab the 5th national title, to be honest. So I'm not too fussed about Fortress. It is what it is. But yeah, I guess maybe it is a little bit of redemption. But yeah, like I said, just want to go 2 for 2.
Mate, congratulations here tonight. Formula Ford's championship victory. We'll see if we can add a Formula 4 championship to your name as well. Who'd you like to thank here tonight?
I got to thank the Eclipse boys. Yeah, I wasn't here all week, so they had the baseline for me, and you know, we were able to work some magic on that as well. And got to thank Esports and for all their support as well. So yeah, big thanks to them.
Mate, congratulations. Go ahead and enjoy it with the boys, and we'll see you again next week from Saxon Ring.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Righto, Dave, that brings us to the conclusion of round number 1, but it is only going to be a couple of weeks away. Next time out, we'll be actually at Saxon Ring from next Monday night. Challenging circuit. This created great racing in the Formula Fords. It was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I love this place. It's got a real ambience about it. It's, you know, the windmills up there, the big trees everywhere, the ups, the downs, the inclinations in the circuit is fantastic. And I think in the Formula Ford it was good. I think in the Formula 4 it's going to be wild.
Well, if you want to find out about that, you'll have to join us here again next week. Reminder, if you thought the racing action looked a little bit interesting and you want to dip your toes in the water, just need an iRacing subscription and you'll need the circuits and access to the league. Jump onto the Discord, register yourself for Formula 4 Australia, set a qualifying time on Sunday night. That's all you need to do to be eligible. If you're inside the top 30, your ticket to Formula 4 Australia sport category will be punched, and we could be seeing you on our screens on a Monday night next week. For now, ladies and gentlemen, we want to say a big shout out to Motorsport Australia, everyone that's come on board as a part of the broadcast and everything that's gone on behind the scenes for FRG to make the Formula 4 Australia Championship possible. Without the admin team, without everyone that makes this series possible, without the drivers, it could not happen. But for now, we'll see you again next week. Round 2 of Formula 4 Australia, live from the Saxon Ring next Monday night.
It's motorsport, but not as you know it. Test yourself and your everyday road car. Safe, affordable, but most of all, fun. And all you need is your daily driver. Experience the thrill of a sprint day. Race against the clock at a hill climb. Or test your reflexes with an auto test. It takes just 3 simple steps to get started. Get on the start line. Search Motorsport Australia Daily Driver today.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.